going on, everybody? Once again, this is Mr. Spann coming to you on Spann TV, and this is Life as I See It. Today, I want to talk about what they would call same-sex marriages or gay marriage, and whether or not uh, black folks should look at it as a civil rights issue. When they had Proposition 8 in California, and that proposition passed, and it reinstated a ban on same-sex marriages in California. There was a backlash, primarily against black voters, as that was around the time that Barack Obama was elected, and people were really high on the fact that we elected an African American president. It was seen as almost a realization of what the civil rights movement was about, equal opportunity for all people in the country, and here you have a man of color in the highest office in the country. For a lot of homosexuals, they were a bit perplexed that black people didn't necessarily, subscribe to, same-sex marriages being a civil right. One thing that people should know, if they don't already, is that black people aren't a monolithic people. You're going to have in any group, a large group of people in any culture, people that are going to be to the right of things, they're going to be to the left of things, they're going to be to the center, and then you're going to have your fringes. And just as well as we have a Barack Obama, there's a Michael Steele. As well as there was a Clarence Thomas, there was a Thurgood Marshall. So to think that we're just going to, or as black people, we were supposed to jump on that bandwagon and say, well, let's get on this bandwagon and promote homosexual marriage. You have to understand that a lot of black people still don't look at homosexuals, or better yet, homosexual marriage as a right. Me personally, people gonna do what they're gonna do. It's not, it doesn't really bother me too much because it has nothing to do with me. The only issue that I would have is if they were to allow same-sex marriages, if they were to perform those marriages in churches. To me, that would be like a slap in the face, to hold a ceremony like that in a church in which the scriptures say that it's an abomination. You're going to do what you want to do that outside of the house of God, in which the words of God is saying this isn't right, this is what you should be doing. And that's what pretty much all major religions, with Christianity, with Judaism, with Islam, the three major largest religions, they all condemn homosexuality. To hold those ceremonies in those houses of worship, I think would I believe those to be slaps in the face. But you have a lot of people that don't. They don't believe in God. You have atheists that don't believe in God. They want to get married. You have, people that, are practicing or say they're practicing Christians, but they're homosexual and they would like to get married. You can do that. But I don't think it's appropriate for that to be held in a church or in a synagogue or in a mosque. And that's just my own personal opinion. But to assume that as black people we were supposed to jump on this homosexual marriage bandwagon and say, well, this is just an extension of the civil rights movement, I think is I don't really subscribe to that, because when I walk out of the house every day, the minute you see me, you know that I'm a black man. There are people walking around right now that are practicing active homosexuals, and you wouldn't know unless they told you. I can't take my blackness off. They can walk around undetected, as far as what they like to do. Now, and again, that's that's completely okay. For them to do what they want to do. This is a free society. To compare being a homosexual to being black and to try to equate the two, I just don't really think that you can do that. Again, like I said, I walk out of the door and it's apparent that I'm a black man. You have people that walk out and they're homosexuals and you wouldn't know. And whether, unless of course, they're either like really flamboyant or they're really, tomboyish or butch or whatever. You never really would know. And even sometimes in those cases, they just, you can't even make an assumption about that, because I don't like making assumptions. But you can't assume that I'm black. It's just, yeah, he's black. So, being black is something that I am. I was black the day I was born. It wasn't something that I had to learn to understand. It wasn't something that I had to grow into. It wasn't anything that someone introduced to me as I was a teenager or any of those things. This is who this is what I am. Now you will have homosexuals that say, well, I was born this way. This is who I am. For as long as I can remember, I've been having these thoughts. That's all fine, and but I really don't think you can equate the two. And black people, whether the vast majority of Americans choose to believe it or not, are conservative on a lot of issues. And like again, I said, you can't think that black people are a monolithic group of people. So to assume that we would automatically, push for homosexual marriage, when honestly you have a lot of people that's just not acceptable in a lot of black communities. And you hear stories all the time about how it's so much harder for African American homosexuals because they have the double burden of being black and they're homosexual. You just can't put that, and you just can't assume that that's something that we would subscribe to and that's something that we would promote and base that off of the civil rights era. And that's just my words on it. Those are my thoughts. Hit me up, give me a video response, a text response. Let me know what you think. Should black folks come off of what they would deem discriminatory, what others would deem discriminatory? Do you think black people should lighten up when it comes to allowing homosexual marriage? Let me know what you think. Talk to you guys again soon. Thanks for watching Spann TV. Peace.